Hey, what's up everyone? Here's another quick update on the Kitt project and some other various bits and pieces that I've got going on at the moment in my garage. So first things first, Kitt. Well, I've decided to definitely make him a T-bar. Now, in the last video I made, I know a few people didn't agree. The fact that I was going to cut the roof out and then put a T-bar in instead. Now I've decided to do that because I really want a T-bar. Now this is something that I've thought long and hard about over the last few months. So I didn't come to this decision easily because there's going to be a lot of extra work involved and obviously costs as well. But I think at the end of it, it will be worthwhile because I'm going to have the ultimate car. You know, I'm going to have everything that I want out of a Kitt replica, which is going to be the automatic gearbox, the whole engine bay completely sprayed, which it is at the moment. It's all been customized. I've got more to do on the engine bay. And of course the rear hatch, which is a clear glass rear hatch. It's just a little bit of condensation because it's quite cold here in the garage. And also, of course, the T-bar. So once that is all done, it will be worth it in the end. I know, I'm 100% confident that it'll be worth it. So the situation at the moment is I'm currently trying to get hold of a T-bar roof. Now I do have one that I found, however it is quite a distance away, so I'm currently trying to get it back here. So I'm going to put this into the garage once I've got it and then get the whole roof obviously cut and then put the T-bar in. Put everything back together because the rear hatch is obviously going to have to stay on because that's going to be used as a guide for the new roof, for the T-bar roof. So they can do all of this in the garage. So unfortunately, this is going to set me back a little bit of time. It is one of them things. However, it is a compromise because I'm going to have the exact car that I want at the end of it. Because the only thing it doesn't have at the moment is a T-bar roof. That's the only thing. So you can see my UFO there as well. I'll give you a quick update of what's going on with that. So yeah, the car is coming along. Just wanted to show you what I've been doing. I've not done too much over the last 2 to 3 weeks. The interior is pretty much the same. If we look over here, that's all the dashboard that's come out. So at the moment, we've got the clear glass rear hatch, we've got the roof that we're going to change, we've got another slight problem there. I did know about this a couple of months ago. I've just not been able to source a driver's side window. So if you know of anyone that's got one for sale, then just let me know. So it's got a little chip out of the glass. It's been there ever since I've bought the car, but you know, it isn't a huge issue. It's just a window really. It's just a piece of glass that I can change. A little bit of work involved. Just need to take off some of these arms and then disconnect everything and then put the new window back in and then do everything up again. So yeah, not too much work, but it's just one of them things that has to be done. I think you know about the interior. As I've said in another video, I'm in the process of like rewiring everything. So a bit of a mess, but this is a good way to do it because you just rip everything out and start again. On my last car, I kind of had to improve what I already had. I couldn't do this on my last car. I couldn't rip the entire dashboard out because I just didn't have the money and I didn't have the time. And looking back, I do kind of regret not being able to do that. I would have liked to have just pulled the whole dashboard out and just rewire everything like I'm going to do to this car. But you live and learn, don't you? You know, this is, of course, my Kitt number 2. So I've learned a few different things. Well, I've learned a lot of different stuff just by building one of these already. So as it's my number 2 Kitt, then there's lots of things I'm going to do different. Nothing major, but just little things really, which I think is going to improve the overall car. And also, if you ever get any issues on the inside with the wiring, any fuses blow, I've got a nice simple system where I can trace everything back. I didn't have many issues on my last car, but still, you know, prevention is better than cure. I don't want to have to be chasing around under the dashboard looking for different wires and all of that, trying to locate the problem. If I've got a nice simple wiring diagram and I've got a nice simple sort of system where all my wires are, then you can quickly and easily go and find the fault a lot faster. So moving on to the front of the car, yeah, the engine, obviously all been done. Now, one of the things I am going to do is I've got more customization in the front, in the hood, or under the hood rather. I won't go into too much detail about that, but yeah, I've got more stuff to do on there. You will see that in the next couple of months. Now, some good news, I've got my scanner, which is going to be coming in the next few weeks. So that's going to be sent out very soon. So really looking forward to that. It's an LED scanner. I'll get it all rigged up when it gets here, give it a nice test and everything, and show you how everything looks and how everything works. So yeah, the front nose. So moving back slightly. So the hood, as you know, no turbo scoop at the moment. It's not a turbo hood, but it will be. I've managed to source one. It's just a matter of time before I get it back here. Again, I'll give you more of an update with the turbo hood nearer the time. So what else have we got going on here? So regards to the Kitt project, that is pretty much it, I would say. I know some people have probably, I mean, you know, maybe you're wondering why I bought the car in the first place if it wasn't a T-bar. Well, it's a good question, but in all honesty, the car was really good. It had just about everything on the car that I needed. Now, it's hard to find these in the UK. So when this came up, you know, I pretty much had to buy it because it already had the rear bumper. It already had the front nose already on, obviously the 15-inch wheels, even though they're caps. And it seemed like a really good, solid, genuine car. And I got it for a fairly good price as well. So there were lots of things on it that were good. And also it was automatic, which I thought, you know, I definitely needed an automatic. After my last car was a manual, I definitely didn't want another manual gearbox. So I don't regret buying it at all. It's a lovely, lovely car. It's a great car. It's just obviously a shame about the roof, but it is one of them things. I'm not going to be the first person to have to change the roof. There's many people out there that have done the same. Obviously, I've got a YouTube channel, and you know, a lot of people just happen to see that I'm going to change this from a hard top to a T-bar. But there's lots of people out there that don't sort of publicize everything they do with their conversions. They buy a Trans Am or a Firebird, convert it into Kitt, and then you just see the end result. A lot of people obviously don't document every stage of the process along the way like I am. So we're getting there slowly. It's a lot of work involved, as you've seen already. But this is why I wanted to do this, so that, you know, people and you and everyone else can just look back on all of these videos at the very ends, and you can see the entire journey, the entire process. So if I had to take a guess, I would say I'm probably about 20% complete. So I would say, yeah, I would say, well, I don't know actually, I would say about 25% finished, because the engine bay, which I've done, when I customized the engine bay and sprayed all of that, that was a lot of work. That was a lot of money and a lot of work, and I would say that's a big chunk of the work completed already. So the main part left is really to spray the outside after the roof is done. And I've got my rear hatch, and that was a bugger. You can see the videos from there, from how I did that. This was an absolute bugger to get on, to get it all aligned correctly. So it's not too bad now. You can see there, look, the rear hatch. But I know this, I've said this a few times already, but out of everything on this car that I've done, this is probably my most favorite part of the car. Yeah, I know that's probably hard to believe because the engine bay looks beautiful and all that. Yeah, it does. But I've been looking for one of these clear glass rear hatches for the last 2.5 years. Even after I sold my last Kitt, I've been looking for one of these because I knew at some stage I was going to need one for my next project. And this one came up about 3 months ago, about 2.5, 3 months ago. So I went and bought it. I got it off eBay and got it delivered. But these are so hard to find here in the UK. I mean, it would be brilliant if I was in the US because I think you can find these a lot more easily. There's always these clear glass rear hatches for sale whenever I go on ebay.com and different Facebook groups, but you know, you obviously can't get it shipped here in the UK because it'll cost far too much money. It'll probably cost about over £1,000 just to get it shipped because it's something this delicate. Obviously being glass, not only that, I just wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk buying a rear hatch like this and then getting it delivered from halfway across the world. It just isn't worth it. Yeah, so here's just a little update really. Just wanted to give you a little bit of information along the way as I do. I've been making videos and giving you little updates and telling you what's going on. What I will say is the UFO is hopefully going to be gone in the next couple of weeks. I think I have another buyer for it. In the last video, or one of the last videos I think I made, I did say, didn't I, that someone bought the UFO and then I got it all out of the garage already and it didn't fit in their truck. So we had to bring it back in again. Absolute nightmare. And I was not happy because getting this thing out of the garage is a nightmare. There's lots of things that I can damage when I move it. So I really was not happy at all. But hopefully this will be gone pretty soon. It's going to be a little bit sad. I know this is not quite the same as my Kitt project. It's obviously a completely different type of project. I realise that, but this was something that I wanted to finish because if there's one thing I will say, anything that I start on my channel, if I start any project, I'm always going to finish it. I never ever start anything that I don't finish. So this is going to be gone in the next couple of weeks, I think, maybe just after Christmas, but we'll see. I think I've got a buyer for it. So it's going to be quite sad because I've put a lot of effort into this thing. But moving forward, I'm not going to be doing too much more stuff like this because this has taken me too much time. This has cost me, I would say, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds to build. And it isn't something that I really wanted to build. Well, I wanted to build it, but I didn't want it to take this much time, if that makes sense. I don't regret building the thing because it's one more project I've got for my channel, but I just didn't expect it to cost as much as it did. And also how much time it took me to do. I spent about 10 months doing it. And it's just the sheer labor involved. I mean, if you look back on the videos, you can see how I did everything. All of this was just bare ply. Yeah, it was just bare 3mm ply. And I had to screw I don't even want to think about it. Honestly, the amount of work this thing took is off the scale. And if I could keep it and just leave it in a corner somewhere, I would, but I don't have the space in my garage. You can see, look, I've got my quad there and I've got Kitt, and I don't really have enough space to just leave the UFO in the corner. It'd be a cool little prop. You know, I'm sure whoever buys it is maybe just going to leave it somewhere on display because it is a cool sort of looking thing, especially when all the lights are on and you turn the lights out, or it's quite, you know, it's quite dark in a sort of a darkish room. One other thing I will say is, so moving on from the UFO is my little quad. So here's just like another little update with other things I've got in the pipeline. So with the quads, I've made some videos in the past, haven't I, with my little quad. So this is a 2-stroke air-cooled race engine, which I've put into this quad. These little mini quads don't come with engines like this. This is around 7 or 8 horsepower. The engines that normally come with these quads are about 3 horsepower. They're very, very slow. And they're made for kids. But because I'm a big kid and I race mini bikes, or I did race mini bikes, I thought, well, why not? I'll put a race engine in the quad. And that's what I did. And this thing goes. It absolutely flies. So if you go back on my channel, you can see all the videos on my quad. Yeah, it's really good fun. It is so much fun. Probably one of the most, I would say, the most fun I've had on a go-kart track. I mean, my bike is fun, but this thing is so dangerous that it makes it more fun. So what we're going to do, what we've got planned for these next year, is I'm going to do some top speed tests. If I can get to a runway and go through a speed trap. I don't know what sort of speed I'm going to get up to, but I can change the gearing at the back, so I've got more top end speed. So maybe 40 plus miles an hour, 40, 45 miles an hour. Bear in mind, this is only about 7 or 8 horsepower. It's quite impressive, you know, all of that power and speed coming out of a little engine like that. And that's got a 14mm carburetor on the back. I do have another quad. If you have seen my other videos, the blue one, which is a water-cooled version of this. It's got bigger tyres, it's been customized more around the back, and it's just a lot faster and a lot more powerful. That quad is tucked away elsewhere, but I'm going to be doing more work to the blue water-cooled quads in the new year because I want to change the engine. So what I'm going to do next year is I'm going to take this one and the blue water-cooled both to a test track and do some more videos on track, and also a top speed test if I can find a runway sort of around this area that's not too far. So yeah, lots of great stuff planned for the quads. I'll tell you what, out of all the stuff I've done so far on my channel, this is probably the most fun. It really is. I mean, I love Knight Rider, but of course I can't do too much with him, you know, apart from take him to car shows and all of that, and that's brilliant fun. Don't get me wrong, it is one of the best things I've ever done is to build these kits, but the quads are a whole different type of fun. You know, you can go out on the go-kart track and just give it the beans and then just throw it around the corners, and that's so much fun. So there you go, that's just a little update with what we've got going on. We've got some parts as well. Oh, I've got some GM. I believe these are 2nd generation seat belts. I bought these as a package deal. I got loads of other 3rd generation stuff, 3rd gen Firebird stuff, and these come with it. And I believe these are 2nd generation seat belts. So these are actually for sale. So I'm going to probably put them on eBay. I mean, you can see, look, they're in brilliant condition. I mean, these are not cheap. Being like GM, original GM ones as well, and being tan, I mean, I've given them a bit of a clean look and they've come up lovely. So they're actually for sale. Also, we've got a box of tricks. What we got here, I think this is the ignition barrel. I think I'm going to change that in the car because the one I've got in there at the moment is just a little bit, well, it's not in there. Yes, it is in there. Of course it's in there because it's attached to the steering wheel. Yeah, like the column. So there, look. Yeah, the ignition barrel I've got in there at the moment is just a little bit sort of stiff, and it just doesn't feel right. So I thought, well, while I'm at this stage, I might as well just change that. So as we've got everything out, I'm going to change that. I'm also going to change the foot pedal rubbers, yeah, the grips. So I'm going to change them. Oh, and one more thing, check this. What I am going to do, if I can, as long as I can wire it up, which I'm sure it'll be fine to do so, is I'm going to get the light on the pedal. That is going to be super cool. I don't know how it's going to work 100%. What I'm hoping that I can do is I can wire the switch up so that as I push the accelerator down, more of the LEDs go up, just like he did in the TV show. You know, when he obviously drove on his own, as he sort of floored it, more of the lights turned on. So I'm going to try and do that if I can, and I'm sure that is a feature that I'll be able to do. I'll be able to sort of create, because you don't want to just put the accelerator down. You don't want to push the throttle down and then all the lights come on, because that's just not how it was, as I'm sure you'd agree. But there you go. I won't go on too much more. I could talk for hours about my Knight Rider. So much more stuff that I often don't sort of mention in videos because I just don't have the time. But yeah, I could talk for hours. There's lots of small little bits and pieces that I've come across that I need to not necessarily fix, but just little things that, I mean, for instance, let me just give you one thing I need to do. I need to fit the spoiler. The spoiler's down there, look. So the spoiler needs to go on the back, so that's one little job I need to do. It's not that difficult, but obviously it takes a bit of time, so I just need to screw some holes, drill some holes, nut and bolt it, put it through, and then, of course, when I spray the entire car, that will come off again, because otherwise there will be lines and everything, and I don't want that. So there you go. Oh, and the rear lights are still the normal Pontiac. They will obviously come off when I get my black out. So we are making progress. Oh, and KRZ 2000s. That is also a really cool thing. Look at that, baby. Knight Industries. Yeah, so we're making progress slowly, very slowly. So there you go. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. This is just another update along the way to let you know what's going on and how things are progressing in my garage. We're in the middle of the winter time at the moment here in the UK, and we've had some really cold weather over the last few weeks, so you can see all the condensation on the car. Not good. And the engine is, poor little engine, look at that, all the condensation in there. But there you go. So thanks for watching. That's it for today. When we have some more parts arrive in the next couple of weeks, I've got other parts that I've got coming and other updates that I'm going to give you. So they'll be coming up over the next couple of weeks. So make sure you're subscribed, and you'll get the notification when I upload some new videos. So thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it and you're enjoying the progress and the kit build. Any questions, just leave them below in the comment section and I will reply the best I can. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.